Hi, Justine Magazine. I am Alexandra Bracken.
And I am Susan Dennard.
We are here to interview each other and also talk to you guys about our new books, Wayfarer and Witch, or as we like to call them, Waywitch.
Exactly. Now, it is my turn. Mwahaha. So, Ms. Bracken, why don't you tell us a little bit about your newest book, Wayfarer?
My purple beauty right here. So Wayfarer is the sequel to Passenger. It picks up maybe like 2.5 weeks or so, which that was very specific. 2.5 weeks after Passenger's end. And if you don't know, Passenger is sort of like a treasure hunt that spans centuries and continents. And at the end, spoiler, the two main characters are separated. So in Wayfarer, they have to find their way back to each other, as well as find the key to creating or destroying the time passages. And so there's like alternate timelines, there's an elephant stampede, there's like everything you could possibly imagine. I fit into 500 pages.
In terms of elephant stampedes and all of that, if you could choose any place, time in this sort of Passenger Wayfarer timeline, where would you want to end up?
Depends on which timeline you're talking about. There's sort of like an ongoing, not joke necessarily, but a thing in Wayfarer that you might remember in Passenger, the Thorns, which are sort of the rogue group. They hide out in really undesirable eras and times. For instance, San Francisco after the earthquake. Basically places they know the other time travelers don't actually want to go to look for them. So probably none of those eras. I think I would still really like to go make maybe a brief visit to the 18th century, see 1776 New York, even if it's under British occupation. I love colonial history so much, but writing these books really convinced me that I would actually hate time traveling to the past. I just feel like natural selection would have gotten me terrible vision, mildly allergic to horses, would probably drink contaminated water, or die of dysentery because of I just took it to a dark place. I'm sorry. The past is only fun to visit for a short time as a tourist and then return quickly to our modern luxuries and comfortable air-conditioned homes.
So tell me, do you think you are more ironwood or hemlock?
That's a good question. Mostly because the 4 time-traveling families have a lot in common in terms of being very ambitious and sort of trying to rearrange the timeline to suit their own needs. I think the difference is the Ironwoods are sort of like a wrecking ball that come in and they sort of just shove through anyone who stands in their way, whereas the Hemlocks are maybe a little bit more cunning and a little bit more sneaky. I think the Hemlocks have overall a better family dynamic, so maybe I would stick with the Hemlocks. And I think I probably am not someone who is very good at taking charge and just destroying anyone who stands in my way. So I'm going to go with Hemlock with that answer.
Moving on, we're going to get to your Innermost Secrets. What do you do when you should be writing?
When I lived in New York, or when I even lived in Virginia, I basically would just sort of like take my iPhone, plug in my earphones, and just go for a really, really, really long walk. Like a Regency heroine, basically. Just like strolling through the streets, like listening to this beautiful sweeping music, just sort of ignoring the world. Now I basically just take pictures of my dog for Instagram. That's pretty much it, or I play with him. He is really the one that distracts me though. When he feels like he's not getting enough attention, he'll just start taking his toys and slowly piling them beside me in the chair, like, not this one? Maybe this one will get your interest. Maybe you want to play just for a second? So yeah, probably playing with my dog.
Moving on then, let's learn 3 things about you that the world may not know.
Okay, number 1, I was almost kidnapped as a child. Yes. Legitimately almost kidnapped from the Arizona State Fair, and thank God my mom rescued me because I would not be here today. That's a very long story. I'll tell you guys later. I took it to a dark place again. Why do I always do that? The first place I ever visited outside of the United States was actually Greece, which happens to be where my mom's family is from. So we have some nice Greek relatives in the fam. So that was really cool. I got to see kind of where my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother, or Yaya, is from. And then number 3, this is embarrassing. This is a thing that still kind of haunts me to this day. I once got our home phone number banned from a local radio station because I kept calling in to request My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. I would call them like 24 times a day, every single hour to get them to play it. In my defense, it was before the internet. And you would have to record it off of the radio, and I would always miss the beginning, and I had to have the full song. So they blocked our number.
You win. You win at life. Oh, I'm actually crying right now. Last question. I don't think it can top My Heart Will Go On. What was your favorite summer reading book in high school?
You know, this is, I think, the answer that everyone is going to expect, but it was because of the timing, the books were still coming out, and I would go back and reread them to prepare for the new release, so it would be Harry Potter. I still, to this day, like to reread the Harry Potter books every few summers, and it's just such a good summer project. I love a good, you have to, like, commit to something. I keep trying to have Game of Thrones be my summer reading project, but I get so discouraged after, like, my third favorite character dies. So I go back to Harry Potter, still, to this day. Hey, Justine Magazine, this is Alexandra Bracken. Don't forget to check out Wayfarer, the conclusion, hopefully the stunning conclusion, the epic conclusion to the Passenger series, which is out now. For more, go to justinemagazine.com.